this size of training, which is again in terms of the UAV operators. If we just see the numbers, I know as you mentioned about the CAGR, especially in terms of the UAV space, again it is a billion size market. And again, training is also kind of the challenge. So, as again, I just would like to again put on the record here one thing. Our institutions, especially our traditional, conventional institutions, are not prepared for it. And I'm so happy to see that the organizations like Enord, because initially it was simply the building drones, but now they are also entering into the space of supporting, especially India, our country, in developing the workforce and the readiness for the country to use the drones. Earlier we were just thinking like flying a drone is a kind of game, but it's a technical skill. It's not simply that's why we just heard that when I discussed about this training, we heard that it requires TGCA license also. So it's a kind of pilot. It's not simply the flying the drone. So there are many technicalities. And when we look at this, we do not have the fields to fly, because when we need some place to fly, you need a big place, but not only the big field. More than that, you need the red or green or yellow zone. If your zone is green, then you can again fly the drone. So these are the constraints and the challenges again in terms of the infrastructure, other than the technical workforce in terms of the training or the trainers. So simulation is the best alternate for developing the workforce. But one thing I would like to say, I'll not take much time because other panelists are also here. But the biggest challenge is the awareness of the young people, especially who are studying, whether engineering or any other undergraduate program or any program. They don't know there is such training required or available. So such kind of awareness is also. I just give you one example. With Enord, we launched, we approved few courses on drone, and one is on drone operations also. But there are very less takers. I'm really surprised to see. So these are the things, and when we are saying, okay, we need guys for the maintenance and the operations of drones, there are very less takers. So aspiration is something else. So I think we have to. This is why simply, I don't know, this is coming to my mind right now, and I would like to just put across. So these colleagues and friends will again put some light on that.
The perspective changes, so does the aspiration of a person. It is something which is not demeaning by the word of it. Yes, if Anas Zen and his team is listening to it, and I would ask them to take a note of it. And I would definitely recommend the Enord team to build a revenue model around training all the pilots. So I've just changed it, the operator from pilot. Yes, sir. You have actually covered my first question somehow, somewhere, which is hidden out there. So, Ankur sir, since you come from information technology and I have a random question which is not listed out here. How do you feel using a XRD simulator technology that just Anas has gave us a brief about? How important it is and how fruitful it is in terms of setting down the parameters of someone's capabilities and competencies in respect to drone operation, right? How useful it is. For example, why I'm asking this question. So, I bought a car 1 year back. The day I bought this car, I started driving it immediately. And my friend from whom I bought this car, he said, "Do you know driving?" I said, "I don't know." Then he said, "How you are driving?" I simply said this thing to him this might sound awkward to you as well. That in early days of 2013 to 2014, I used to play that doctor driving game on my phone. And he said, "Are you sure that somehow it is it is giving you benefit to learn driving?" I said, "Yes." So in this context, this is my personal learning and experience. In this context, how do you feel that XRD simulator sort of a technology, virtual reality that we are talking about, it is impactful in terms of drone operations and learning those piloting skills? So what's your take on to that?
Thank you so much, and huge congratulations to Enord team for their 5th anniversary. I've been with them for a few years, and it's tremendous to see their growth and the accomplishment that they've achieved in the last couple of years. And thank you so much, Enord team, for inviting me. I think the question is regarding simulation. I think there's a huge opportunity for everyone to simulate their own environment, like Anas was mentioning, based on their own domains that they are working in, to simulate scenarios and to simulate the flight paths and things like those. I come from a construction industry background, a combination of construction and IT. We provide technology services for virtual construction, and I see a huge potential in drones and simulation, because in construction you can simulate, and the challenges that the construction industry is facing right now is first to survey existing conditions of sites or buildings, and then also to monitor the conditions of construction during execution of projects. For us, if we have a simulator which can simulate the buildings the way they are being constructed in advance, they can be surveyed, surveillance can be done on the construction, safety of people who are constructing, the cranes. You can become a crane operator and simulate the scenario as to how a crane operator will work. And then also through drones, you can detect construction mistakes that can save lives. So you can also inspect buildings like bridges, where you can combine, like we call it AI and drones. Now with AI technology being combined with drone imagery, you can detect if there are cracks in buildings under construction or existing buildings or bridges. Drones can access areas which humans can't. And with AI imagery, you don't have to really watch the imagery yourself manually. With AI tools, it can automatically detect if there are cracks more than 2 mm wide and report that to you. There are a lot of scenarios, part of it I think Anas covered in this presentation also, but I think it's just the limitation is in our mind as to what all we can use it for.
Thank you. Yes, I've just written down 3 industry segments, to be honest. One is logistic, the other one is agriculture, of course the third one is defense one. The fourth one I just had added to it. And I would surely, ask Anas if he can bring some sort of a range of drones which can actually work in construction segments. I hope you must be working on it. Of course, you have pending orders. Once it is done, definitely his R&D team is going to work on it for sure.
Small industry.
Yeah, it's a very small industry. Though this is sort of an untapped revenue, Anas. The market size that we're talking about. I've just the moment I was searching for it, it was just simply showing the 3 industries. So if we just add the 4th industry, which is a prominent one in globally, right? Not in India, globally as well. So this is another segment where for sure and not in future we'll be looking after to work upon it. Thank you so much, Ankur sir. So sir, for me it is difficult to draft a question for Salim sir since he's a law professor. But yes, we are talking about drones, so there are existing certifications which is out there. So I have a question in this respected. Existing certifications and licensing frameworks align with the pace of UAV technology advancement. Is it something which is enough, or if you have any sort of information about this, or there are some other things that we can add on to this as well?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good to be here. I congratulate Mr. Zain and Mohammed Anas and everybody who is present here. I'm so thankful to be invited here today. Not being from technology law, but law is something which does not allow anyone or any activity or any person or property to go outside the jurisdiction of law. So it is a necessary being in every space and time and position. So a very pertinent and very good question which my moderator has asked. It is a platform which gives solution to the problems which people in their daily life have. Drone technology is no alien to this particular situation. It is here to provide solutions to a lot of problems which are with respect to the space, in terms of distance, which are with respect to the time, in terms of delays, which are with respect to the complexities because of inability to reach to those turnarounds or complex situations or circumstances. And also, there are a lot more complex situations which are not being solved by existing technology framework in the world, which we see that drone technology is able to provide a lot of solutions. So there it has happened because of this innovation of technology. A lot of we are seeing that there is a drone Inspector X, there is a drone EDI-Y, there is a drone Hero 7. There are hundreds and thousands and lakhs of drones which are used in military activities, in commercial activities, in civil activities, civil use of drones. But everybody who is sitting here must have to take one thing away with them today and must have to keep in their mind, nothing on this earth and nothing in the atmosphere of earth can go out of the regulation of law. Whether the legal regulation is present or it is not present. Because even if a legal regulation is not present, anything which is harmful or may become harmful for the person or property of another or to himself, the person who is the maker of it, is not going to be unaddressed by the legal system. Whether the legal system is of the place of occurrence or the legal system of another country, another jurisdiction, or the global legal system which is under the United Nations or any other conventional body which is EU or any other areas. I will come very specific to the point which is asked to speak on, to cut short my explanation on it. In India, drone manufacturing, operation, sale, purchase, transactions, contracting, import, export, transportation, interport, every activity which is possible in the dictionary with respect to drone is regulated by Drone Rules 2021-22 until today. Until very few days are coming to overhaul this system. So Drone Rules 2021-22 regulate this complete spectrum of activity with respect to not only the whole spectrum of the life cycle from starting to manufacture, not from the manufactured product of bird, starting to manufacture until it is being destroyed or dematerialized or dismantled. All the aspect of its functioning is completely regulated by the legal system, which is now in our legal system in the shape of Drone Rules 2021-22. These Drone Rules 2021-22 are drafted on the Erstwhile Act which used to regulate in our country aircraft or airlines. So Aircraft Act 1934, Aircraft Rules 1937 used to regulate all manned vehicles or unmanned vehicles in India. But so whether it is with respect to the so military operations are completely outside, the purview of Drone Rules 2021-22 or Aircraft Act 1934 or Aircraft Rules 1937. Military activities are outside, but civil and commercial, which is largely the spectrum of this, what we are discussing, is completely within the jurisdiction of this, whether it is with respect to manufacturing, from the starting to manufacture until the dismantling and winding up of this activity. Now, here in this situation, there are 2 or 3 most important spectators and parties which are involved in this activity. One is obviously the person who is going to start the manufacturing of these drones, especially this Enord itself, who is manufacturing the drones. They require license. You cannot do any activity in India of any kind without having a license. Be it running a school or college, be it this hotel, which is a restaurant and hotel and hospitality industry or anything. It is not possible to do any activity in any legal system, be it India or anywhere else, without following the licensing rules and procedures. But here there is a very technical part which is to be understood. I have just cited before you 2 legislations. One is Drone Rules 2021-22 and Aircraft Act 1934 and 37 rules. Now this regime is changing by this year. In 2025, there is a law which has come in our country. Let me say from 2024, Aircraft Act, which is the parent act, which used to regulate manned vehicles and unmanned vehicles, which is UAV or UAS system or vehicle. This Aircraft Act 1934, Aircraft Rules 1937 are now changed. In 2024 in India, there has come a Vayuyan Act. This Vayuyan Act 2024 has a paradigm shift, has completely upgraded and created a penalty and penal provisions and liabilities on aircrafts, carriers, and all those people who are buying and selling and giving on charter as a charter party on contract. If I have a plane, I give it on rent, it's a charter party agreement. So by virtue of the Bharatiya Vayuyan Adhiniyam 2024, they're required to bring a change in the Drone Rules 2021-22 because Bharatiya Vayuyan Adhiniyam 2024 came later. Now, in the wake of it, in 2025, on 16th of September, the Civil Aviation Ministry, which is a parent organization under which the DGCA, Director General of Civil Aviations, are regulated, which is the parent body to give licenses and permissions and certificates and all those activities which are run through manned and unmanned vehicles. They have proposed a new legislation to the Parliament of India. And this new legislation was proposed, is being put into discussions and suggestions and recommendations are invited from all of us across India, from all people who are interested parties in that, which is going to be a law in the time to come. In India, the first drone is specific, I'm saying namely, the first drone act or drone law came in the name of 2021 rules. Now we are getting a drone act, which is a larger paradigm. Act is always higher and larger than the rules, which is going to come this year, 2026 में आप देखेंगे that there is going to be a drone act, which is in the name of Drone Promotion Regulation Act 2025 का bill है. 26 May it will become law anytime soon when the Parliament will sit in the coming session. I think from the February, because we have the budget session. So after the budget session, there is a probability that this law will become. Now, important thing is why I'm bringing this to light is the question which my moderator has asked. about licenses and certifications. Earlier, it used to be, you must have been told, you must have read, you must have seen, you must have educated yourself that there is no requirement of license for certain category of drones, for certain space or height of drones, for certain places of drones. Now it has gone. In the drone promotion and regulation bill 2025, this all has gone. Every kind of drone require a license. Be it a 25 or 250, which is a spectrum that you have, and then 2 kilogram and 25 kilogram and 125 kilogram and 200 kilogram. All these, earlier it used to be 250 gram ka, you can run up to 400. Now this has gone. This is going to go. So it is very important for all of us who are manufacturers, who are users for commercial or civil activity, who are operators, who are suppliers, who are agencies who are providing this as a buying and selling agent, bell-threader agent, either for importing or exporting. It is very important for us to understand that these rules are going to be implemented, that all kind of drones require licenses for any kind of activity. One very important aspect. I'm taking more time, sorry for that, but this is very unique and very important. No drone can fly without, I will just ask a question to everybody of you. Can there be a vehicle on road without a number? No, it is not possible. Even if there is no permanent number, there has to be a temporary number. Can there be a flight or an aeroplane without a number? No, it's not possible. It doesn't happen. Every drone has to have a unique identification number, UIN. Now, this is nothing new. In the 2021-22 drone rules, there has been this regulation, but there is a change in this regulation. The manufacturer is supposed to have a UIN now. Earlier, it used not to be. Earlier, it used to be that the operator should have a UIN number. Now, manufacturer should have a UIN number, and that UIN number will be passed on to the operator or the person who is importing or exporting or anything else. One of the most important change which is being brought to our legal system, and it is a unique one, which I am telling you, it has very seldom, once in a decade it happens, that any law should have its implementation outside the territorial jurisdiction of our country. This is the law which is coming, which is having an implementation and application outside the territorial land, airspace and waters of India. Drone rules, Drone Promotion and Regulation Act Bill 2025, in its first section 1, have brought that this applies to non-citizens of India as well. This applies to non-registered companies of India as well. This applies to anyone who has supplied Indian company, Indian person supplied drone outside. This law applies to it, that as well. आप रशिया ले जाइए drone, Indian drone registered है. This law of India will be applicable in Russia. Anyone who has manufactured, purchased and imported the drone from outside, this law, even if the UIN is not being registered through the DGCA of this legislation, even then this law will be applicable. I have not seen such a law in India, which is so over jurisdictional, over territorial. And I am telling you that this is going to take the light of the day, and we have to be very conscious and very upgraded and educated, because I was going through only the incidents, the problems or accidents which has happened in last many years, and to my shock, to my knowledge and shock, I was unable to complete that page. There are innumerable accidents in civil activities, military, obviously, no problem, but they are immune, they have a sovereign immunity. they are not they are not going to be liable for any injury or problem. But civil and commercial activity में इतनी problems आएंगे इसकी कोई limit नहीं है. And the important thing is who will be responsible? The operator will be responsible. If there is a problem, so operator may complain to the manufacturer if there is a problem with respect to manufacturer. And earlier it used to be in the drone rules 2021 there used to be a fine. Now there is a penalty, jail hai ab. There is a jail of 3 years and there is a jail of 8 years. So it is very important that we have to educate and we have to upgrade ourselves with the new laws which are coming. I have a very short time, sorry to say. I have already extended my time, but it requires a complete session that someone has to come and speak to everybody who is into any segment of this drone industry. Any segment, I am telling you. Certification, yes, it is with DG Sky, which is compulsory. DGCA is giving the certification for each and every activity separately. The most important aspect I have just highlighted in front of you. There are many more. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful insight, which is not related to Enord, but everyone and anyone who's sitting out there, who's interested about getting drones in future, be it to fly to short mountains or their vlogs, or in future, of course, Enord is doing their part in respect to the industry, their side if I talk about. So yes, thank you so much, Salim sir, for this wonderful insight which is required in future. Yes, we will be very much cautious and aware of the facts which are going to come. So my next question to Saleem sir, which is related to skill development. So in last 12 years, India has majorly focused upon the skill development part. We have been seeing, a lot many programs, government initiatives. Some sort of fundings are there, structured programs, I would say. And yes, the way Rihan sir mentioned, how Enord is, providing that sort of a skill development of drone pilots. So, if I talk about the industry-wide parameters in respect to the skill development part related to drones, so where do they stand as per the parameters that has been set, some sort of standards that has been set by the industry itself? What are the lacunas out there? How we can improve onto these sort of skill development programs? And specifically since we are setting for Enord with Enord, where Enord also can come into picture on a nationwide approach, be it a revenue segment that they can generate. Of course, this is something which takes a cost to it, and there is no such harm charging a price to give you that skill. On the top of it, how government initiatives can be helpful for Enord to become a part of it. And of course, so we learn this in our lives that give or scale. Even if Enord is getting bigger over a period of time, what sort of a CSR initiative, not in terms of profits, but in terms of giving nature, what can be done to improve the nationwide approach, how skills are being delivered? So, your take on it.
Thank you so much. I think that's a very important question. In the start, I would like to thank the Enord team and also my best wishes and congratulations for such a wonderful event. And just a 5-year-old company, completed 5 years, and it has shown a complete metamorphosis and the transformation from a small organization, and for very, very impressive work the organization is doing. So my heartiest congratulations. Second is to sit amongst such an eminent panel, I must concede, is a bit intimidating. It's a fantastic perspective from the legal point which Dr. Salim has mentioned. It was very, very enlightening, and I'm sure not only to me, to most of the people present here, I will not be aware of such nitty-gritty of the legal aspects of the subject. And thank you very much, sir. I think it's very, very impressive, and I'm really enlightened on a lot of matters. Now, when we talk about the drone, it's more of an unmanned aerial vehicle, which has a long history, a legacy. just looking up the Google, you find out that the first unmanned vehicles were used in Vienna for attack, transporting some explosives, through air, and was mainly a hot air balloon kind of concept. While in the First World War, Second World War, we hear a lot. And even as we grow, we had heard about a lot of unmanned vehicles being used for spraying pesticides or for the dropping fruits in the remote areas. But that's a legacy. Now, with the drone, as we see today, it's an amalgam of technology. It's an amalgam of the IT, software, hardware. And rest, I would say it is not a vertical, it's more of a horizontal, which is a complete subject in itself, and it just on a human imagination where it can be used. So the ubiquity of the drone, I would say it's all pervasive and it affects every part of life. Be it a very simple concept of logistics, be it photography in a wedding, security, surveillance, now the military uses, transportation of medicines in emergency up on the hills. In the COVID, we have seen a lot of use, and it has completely transformed. And I do not see any, even for that simple way of food delivery through drones. So it's become a very, very important piece of technology and electronics from my perspective, which is used everywhere and it is everywhere. Now coming to the Electronic Sector Skill Council. My task is relatively simple, more focused. As a council, I have a mandate to ensure delivery of skilled manpower for the ESDM, Electronic System Design Manufacturing segment. So we work towards that end. If you divide in two parts, one part is to ensure supply of skilled manpower and make impact on the lives of the youth. As they say, leverage the demographic dividend, mobilize the youth and put them into self-destructive youth. The other part is to ensure skilled manpower to sector, the electronics.